that are going across your cylinder head and filter those, allow them to condensate back to a liquid form, where then that air is then returned back into your crankcase, because it's a sealed system basically. And so basically you're drawing for additional crossflow. You draw fresh air in through this breather. It's going across the engine, coming out at the back where the PVC valve would be, and then in line is the RX catch can. There's a hose right here, if you can see. It's wrapped around the case, but basically you unwrap that and it'll drop down and evacuate just above the ground, where you can get a pop bottle or something in underneath it. And then on the bottom side of the catch can is a screw lever that you just screw to open the valve, and it will drain out all of your byproduct. The system here, which is your brake and clutch fluid reservoir, has been modified to have a separate clutch reservoir, and so this is just utilized for the braking system. And the reason of the separate tanks is obviously clutches in these LS3s have a tendency to throw a lot of clutch dust back into the system, which, you know, common sense, it's not a good idea to be getting those type of contaminants into your braking system. And so these are independent systems, and basically you screw the top off, you have your reservoir. This has been upgraded to, I prefer Motul RBF 600. It's a .4 racing brake fluid. It has a much higher boiling point than the stock fluid that comes in the vehicles. Although it says 600, I think it's actually 550 degrees is what it's certified for. Well, there it is. It says 544 degrees. No, 594 degrees Fahrenheit for the dry boiling point, and the wet boiling point is 421 degrees. So that is just simply a superior fluid, so if you're out at a road course, you don't have to worry about boiling your fluid and losing your brakes. The clutch reservoir is a very small reservoir. Obviously you don't need a lot of clutch fluid. You can see how clean that clutch fluid is. I generally change that clutch fluid out. I use a syringe with a hose on it, and as you back the syringe up, it'll fill up, and then I spray that into a pop bottle or an oil tank at the track. And I think that whole thing is like maybe 20 cc's, so you know, 2 syringes full and it'll be completely evacuated. You don't need to purge the entire system. You just empty it through here, go ahead and add some more. I use that same Motul in here. You add your fluid, fill it back up, put the top on, then get in and press your clutch about 30 times, and that'll actually purge all of that fluid out of your system. And if there's more contaminants throughout the system, then you change this out one more time and add your fresh. So you don't have to bleed the system. It's something that you know, at the track you can do once or twice a night. Generally, I would change that fluid out after about every 3 to 4 races, only because if you've ever had a clutch pedal stick to the floorboards, when it's something that simple to do, and you can do it in between races, it's great. Street driving, I would say change that out every time that you change the oil. In fact, just yesterday I went up to the dealership and did get the oil changed out again, although I did it right before I winterized it. I went ahead and had it changed out again. I used Royal Purple 10W30 during the cooler months like this. As summer approaches, I would probably upgrade that to a 10W40. And you know, like with any motor, high performance motor, you do want to check your oil on a frequent basis. I think that pretty much covers inside here. Just to identify some things. This is the dual fuel system that's feeding your fuel rail. This is actually your fuel line, and it's feeding fuel to both sides of your fuel rail. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers the engine area. Let me turn those lights off. So we've covered type of oil. We've covered type of fluid in the brake and the clutch. And I guess the other thing to point out in here is the center console, the light switch. Right here, located just behind your gear shift knob. I know what I do with the key. I know I had it. I might have to edit this part out. Oh, here it is. Okay, getting back to this, let me shut the door. As you can see, interior lights dim out, and the upper light is also controlled by the door. There's also a series of switches where you can control it yourself. It's set for the doors, but if you choose, you can push this button and that will turn on your blue colored driving lights, basically, which kind of give a nice effect, especially in the evening. You can't really see it too awful much, but along here you've got a door light that illuminates also in the blue color. So that's the interior lights. And let's fire it up. And as you can see, oil pressure, then you have your oil temperature, you have a transmission temperature, and then you've got the voltage. And I did take it up to the dealership to get the oil changed, so the mileage is 25,439. And basically that's the extent of it. You have your buttons to turn on your heaters in your seats for driver's side and for passenger side, your air conditioning controls, your hazard lights, your door locks, which are probably in the most inconvenient place that GM could have possibly come up with, but this is what unlocks and locks your doors. Then of course your radio controls. It is OnStar equipped, and I believe all you have to do is push the blue OnStar button if you wish to get activated for the OnStar. Traction control. Okay, that's located just in front of your gauge